Hey again YouTube, Nutjob with Machete back with another installment of Nutjob with Stuff. What I've got today is this little thing. For some of you who may have seen it on Chris from Prepared Mind 101's channel, this is the Luci solar lantern. It's their emergency solar lantern basically. What it is it's a little lantern with a solar panel right on it, and you can actually just stick it out in the sunlight, hang it from a tree from this little strap, or pop it on a bag, anything like that, and during the day it picks up the light, and nighttime you can then use it as a lantern. Basically, blow it up, just like a beach ball, and turn it on. Now it's got a few light settings. It's got low, high, blink, basically a strobe so that you know if you need to find your way back to camp, this will help, as well as the emergency SOS. Now it blinks in red for one SOS, and we'll see it switch over and blink in white, and then it'll actually repeat that until the battery runs out, which makes this actually pretty damn handy. Bush in the car, anything along those lines, especially if you can just hang it from a tree and have it blink out SOS during the nighttime or during dusk, and it'll recharge during the day. You turn it back on and hopefully someone finds you fairly soon. So when I saw this thing, I thought it would be kind of an interesting little idea, and I have to admit it is actually kind of cool. I tested it out, and I'll tell you guys the run times in a little bit. I took it with me camping, and I took it to the family reunion, and I actually found out that even if you fully charge it and then say you put it in with your camping gear, the charge actually doesn't stay inside it. Basically, it doesn't hold the charge for a long period of time. I'm not sure how long, but it was in my camping box for about 4 or 5 days before we actually went out, and it was fully charged before it went in there, and it lasted about 35 minutes or so when we got to camp on high. So that's just one thing to note. You need to charge it up before you're going to use it. You probably have a couple of days, but it's still a good idea to charge it up right before you use it. So let me grab my notes and we'll take a gander at how long the run times were. So what I did with this to test it out was I set it in the sun for 6 hours, direct sunlight, and then I tried one day just charging it up. We've had a few rainy days, and putting it in the diffuse sunlight for that time, and I found that about 12 hours of diffuse sunlight was roughly equivalent to 6 hours or so of direct sunlight. And then what I did is the next full sun day I stuck it out in the sun for about 8 hours or so, and I did that over the course of about a week and tested the run time, so how long you have on high and how long you have on low. And what I found was the 6 hours of direct sun, or 12 hours of diffuse light, gave me around an hour and 45 minutes on average on low. So that's this one, which is more than enough light. I'll show you guys in a moment what it's like in pitch black. Then I tested the next day at about 8.5, 9 hours, and I got about 3 hours and 15 minutes at this light setting. So that was actually pretty decent. It'll definitely do for camping or an emergency or anything along those lines. The next day I tested at 6 hours direct sunlight, and on high, which is a little bit brighter, I got an hour and 25 minutes as the average. So only a slight decrease for a little bit brighter light. Then after about 8.5 hours of direct sunlight, gave me an hour and 35 minutes on high the following day. I haven't tested on strobe, because quite honestly having it blinking in the background was annoying the crap out of me, and I haven't tested it how long it lasts on SOS, so I'm not sure of those. If you guys have tested this out and you know those times, feel free to put a comment down below. So why don't we go see basically how bright it is in pitch black. Okay, so even though you guys can't see me, we're currently in my bathroom. It's about the darkest room in the house. It has no direct windows or anything like that. So let's see what the lantern on low will look like. Well, hey guys. Alright, so obviously the closer you hold it to your face, the easier the camera will see you. But this is low, and I mean, It's given me a ring of direct light straight down of about a meter in diameter, and you can see the door, which is currently about 2 meters from the camera. Now, of course, that's kind of how the light spreads out from it. It does diffuse the light around here, but you get most light straight down. So you could use it as a flashlight if you really needed to. Let's see on high. See, it's a little bit brighter. The circle on the ground from about the same height has increased to about, I'd say, 1.5 meters, and I'm at about 4.5 feet off the ground. And you guys can see how much brighter it is on the door. Now the strobe goes up to, sorry if I'm causing a seizure, I'm going to stop that. It goes up to the high light level, and then, as you can see, strobes out. And of course sorry, I'm going to go through the strobe again. SOS can be seen from quite a distance off. We tested this in the field. I put it up on a tree at night and then walked away. And from about, basically from about 100 meters or so, you could see both the red and the white. The white was easier to see, but of course it's always going to be easier to see a brighter light at night. So, yeah. Overall, I mean, this was about, I think, $12 on Amazon.ca. I think I might have got it on sale. I'll put a link to where I found it and everything below, and all its description, of course. And it's actually proved itself kind of a handy little thing, especially when we were camping. We were in southern Manitoba, and there's a lot of direct sunlight, so we would charge this up during the day, just bring it into the tent at night, and we had more than enough light on low to do anything, read, whatever, inside. And if we really needed to see something, we just turned it up on high. So let's do a little bit of a close-up on it. I mean, you've got basically a standard solar panel. Hey, look, you can see yourself and see yourself. And it's sealed inside what's basically, I mean, it's basically a beach ball. It's a diffuse plastic covering and a clear covering on the bottom, as you can see directly into the LEDs, which is why you can use it like a flashlight if you have to. And that plastic covering covers the solar panel, and that's where that little strap for hanging sits. And then, of course, the nipple's on the bottom. Someone just giggled that I said nipple. And you just blow it up and seal it off. Or if you need to deflate it, pinch it just like a beach ball and deflate. Now, one of the reasons why I picked this up was because it does pack down so small. It's less than half the thickness and, you know, about the same diameter as a roll of Gorilla Tape or duct tape. It's really light. It's about 1.75 ounces. So, you know, if I need this at camp and say I need to break camp, well, we break camp and I can actually just clip a carabiner onto the little plastic thing, stick this on my bag, and while I'm walking, it's getting the light, and I don't really have to worry about any sort of weight shifting or anything along those lines. Now, I do have some minor concerns about it. I do kind of wish that this strap was metal. Just because this plastic, it will eventually tear. It hasn't yet, but it will eventually tear, and there's no real way to hang it otherwise. I would have to punch holes through the plastic, which is actually waterproofing this. We left it out in the rain, we dunked it underwater, and this thing functions just fine in those situations. In fact, if it floats, it will float solar panel side down and light up. So you could use it in that situation if you need to. Beyond all that, it was a fairly cheap little price for something that didn't need batteries, that I could take out camping with me, or take out, you know, in the bush, and that I could use day in, day out, and not really have to worry about it too much. So, I mean, this would probably be a good idea if you were thinking of picking yourself up a solar lantern and you weren't quite sure what you wanted. Well, this packs down really, really small. It's very light. It's fairly inexpensive. So it'd probably be a good idea for you to pick up one of these and, you know, take it along with you when you're camping. I don't really have anything else I can add to this other than, you know, it's a surprisingly good little, fairly cheap product. There is a larger size lantern from Luci, and I think they actually have a few other products. So I might be picking those up in the future, and maybe we'll show them to you on the another episode of Nut Job with Stuff. Well, thanks so much for watching this video, guys. You know, go ahead and go pick yourself up one of these Luci lanterns. They're actually pretty handy. Well, if you like videos like this, please feel free to click like. Feel free to subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And as always, feel free to share this video as much as you want. And until next time, guys, I'm Nut Job with a Machete. Stay sharp.